Well, hello folks, it's Barry here and welcome to a quick vlog from Spirit Shack. You may have been wondering where I am. Have I been abducted by aliens? Has Donald Trump walled me up? Have I just disappeared off the face of the earth? Well, no, none of these things are true. Simple fact of the matter is that John and I have been battling various personal health demons of late, and as a result we've not been in a position to do anything. But here I am, fit-ish, well-ish, and back online. Firstly, a hello from the dogs. Hello Lucian, looking very loving as usual. Yes, you can come up and say hello. Indy in the background, Bear being very miserable and bad-tempered overseas, and Susie. Say hello Susie. Hello Susie. And back to Lucy again, who always wants to say hello, bless him. And hello from the fish, who don't know whether to say hello or to run screaming to the other side of the tank. John's out making food, so you've got to put up with me at the moment. So what do I want to talk to you about tonight? Well, as I'm sure many of you around the world will have seen, last night Donald Trump, President of l'État-Unis, United States, made his first State of the Union address. And in him, we saw a new person. Long since gone was the old pre-election and indeed first few days of the administration Donald Trump, where he was very brash and very bullish and told everybody what was going to be and what should be good and what wasn't good and who was bad. And we saw a more contrite, more focused, dare I say it, even more presidential president than, no, Lucy, please don't, than we have seen in the start of his term. Oh, sorry, Lucy's just jumped up on me. There he is, having a good settle to make sure he's comfortable. He's not a very well boy, so we're giving him a bit of leeway at the moment. He's probably on the end of his days. But on the start of his days, as I say, was Donald Trump last night in the Senate with a very, very happy-looking Vice President, Mike Pence, and Leader of the House, Paul Ryan, sat behind him going, "We picked the right man." And dare I say it, and I never thought I'd be one of those who said it, I was very impressed with what I saw. Here we saw a more humble and more people-centred leader. Lucy, don't get in the way of the picture. You're not the be-all and end-all. Say hello again. Hello again. We saw in him, not in Lucian, in Donald Trump, of course, a man who seemed to recognise that he can't just railroad his way through everything and get what he wants. That he has to work with the people, by the people, and, funnily enough, for the people. We saw a man who seemed to have made plans and was offering his way of seeing through on those plans. The new infrastructure, new roads, new bridges, new tunnels, the reinvigoration of the inner cities that have been for so long left to rot and decay over successive administrations, for one reason or another, usually lack of money. But the thing that impressed me most was we saw a humanity in the man. And a humanity that came through, thank you Lucian, that's my private part, by a sense of purpose, by a sense of focus. And he actually showed that, in some bizarre way, he'd done some preparation work, he'd done some planning, and he'd done some preparation for what he needed to get across, and the way in which he was going to fulfill these dreams and aspirations, which are the dreams and aspirations of all politicians when they first go into that great ramshackle world. And I was one of them, in a much smaller way, in a local council way. You go in with dreams and visions, and there's the brashness. You go in with the "I'm going to change the world" idea, and there's the insurmountable, what's the word I'm looking for, brusqueness of the individual. But that was gone. because he'd realised he had to work by consensus. And he realised that he had to use some planning and to make these things happen. But they would only happen if he managed to get a consented agreement. Do not block my vision, please, Lucian. Just sit there and I'll give you cuddles. Bless you. And John and I are going through that at the moment, not the brusqueness and all that. We are going through the planning stage. We're preparing for the next stage of our life. I've just turned 49. I'm nearly 50. I know I don't look a day over it, and this is dyed to make me look a lot older than I am. We're planning our future life, which we hope and fervently dream will take place in that beautiful Mediterranean country of islands called Malta and Gozo, my true home, and one that John has adopted very deeply to his heart, and is something that we will achieve. But we will only achieve it, we have discovered, if we plan. We can't just say one day, I'm going to Malta, the dogs are coming with me, so are the fish, put down your ear, everything's going to be fantastic, folks. You can make all sorts of dreams, and this is what I want to get to you today, my friends. But our dreams only ever become reality if we do some preparatory work. If we look at reality and the realism of what our dreams can be. If we take the time to even put down on paper, if needs be, the pros and the cons of each argument and how we aim to achieve it. We give ourselves a timeline. We give ourselves set goals that must be in place by each of those timelines. And it's a bit like a ladder, a journey on a ladder whereby you plan, you prepare, stop it, you make it reality, you achieve it. Then having achieved that, thank you, no need to lick me. Then having achieved that, you then plan the next stage. You prepare it. You make it happen by your actions. And that is something that is so important in our human lives because, as I've mentioned before, my friends, all too often the human condition, particularly in the 20th and 21st centuries, will become much faster as a community. We live in a train wreck of a society, really, because as a community we expect everything to be done for us. Whether we're here in the UK or in Somalia or in Australia or wherever we happen to be, we expect somebody else to do things for us and for everything to be put in place. Yes, I love you too. But you know what? Under that fifth principle of spiritualism, be it national spiritualism, Christian spiritualism, or any of the other different branches of spiritualism, personal responsibility has to be allowed to run its course. And it's only when we realise that we have to put some effort and some work into what we want to achieve that we can't expect it all just to be put on a plate and we then just take over the plate and we eat up all the benefits that have been wrought by somebody else. Thank you, darling. That we actually achieve the goals that we have wanted. All the aspirations that we have hoped for. Lucian, for heaven's sake, sit down. I'm making a film. Thank you. You can't move a staffy once they've decided, I'm afraid. And this is a very special staffy. And so today we start a new journey. I'm sorry about this. You just have to put up with him. I can't stop him. We have to start preparing. We have to start planning. And we have to start implementing changes in our lives that are going to be for the greater good of ourselves and those around us. You see, yes, John and I want to move to Malta with our little furry children here, including this one if he's still with us, bless him. He looks quite good at the moment to those of you who are watching, but believe me, as he washes me clean, he really isn't very well and he may not make the final cut. But that's something we'll deal with when we have to. But for now, he is loved and he is cared for. And that's all that matters to us. But in our preparations, we also, of course, by virtue, have to take into effect how our decisions will not only impact ourselves and our lives as we go forward, but how our decisions will impact and affect those around us. We have family and we have friends who love us and care for us, and of course they want the best for us, and they know that our ultimate aim, mine particularly, has always been to move back to that country that I love more than anywhere else on the planet, and to make it our permanent home for the rest of our journey during this physical incarnation. I think you clean that bit now. There's nothing left to clean. You're pulling the hair out by its roots. At least I never need a haircut when I've got a staffy. And so we have to take into account how our decisions will affect other people. And yes, those people that we love will be affected by our decisions, and will be affected by our grander scheme and our grander plan. Even down to these little ones. And the even smaller ones in the fish tank, they'll be affected. We have to consider their needs and their well-being as well. So I ask you here and now, whatever your great dreams, whatever your great ambitions are in life, you go for them. There is nothing ever to be lost by trying to achieve a dream or a personal ambition or a goal. In fact, I would strongly encourage anybody who has a dream and an ambition, even if it's something as simple as to keep pushing their human father until they give up, and let him lick him to death, which this one seems to want to do. Down you get now. Down you get. No, enough. Lucy, go on. Down you go. Thank you. That, I forgot where I was now. Yes, you do. That you make your plans, but you make them realistic, you make them achievable. Some that you may have to stretch a little bit. But that you also take into account how your decisions, how your dreams, how your goals will affect those around you. Whether it's something as simple as deciding on a new car to buy, or where you want to live in your life, and how a new distance may affect your relationship with those you leave behind, or those you're going to be living nearer, to the greater, wider social impact activities of building an infrastructure, new roads, new tunnels, new walls around Mexico, new city projects, new housing systems, whatever it happens to be at the greatest level of government. Take into account planning, preparation and production, the 3 Ps, and make your dreams reality by considering not only your needs and making them realistic, but by also how you will affect other people and impact them by your lives. Bless you and thank you for listening. It's not exactly the most focused of broadcasts, but I hope that you will forgive my little fellow for wanting to have maybe an Oscar-winning Best Supporting Dog role. And trust me, he will win. It won't be La La Land or Moonlight getting the wrong accolade. It will be Best Supporting Dog in a YouTube film, Lucian Harding-Rathbone, in his father's production of How to Make Your Dreams Actually Have a Positive Outcome. So may your God go with you. May you be blessed in all that you do. May you plan and prepare and execute those wonderful, wonderful things you want to achieve in your lives, and know that nothing is impossible without the proper preparation. But do make sure that you care about those you leave behind, and that you consider their needs as well. If you like what you've heard and it makes sense to you, please click below, subscribe and leave a comment. Your comments are so important to me, and I look forward to hearing from you again and to speaking to you again very shortly. Namaste.